So good afternoon all, or I should say good evening to all present in the meeting. I welcome our esteemed speaker, Mr. Aryan Mishra, founder of Astroscape, a startup that builds affordable astronomy laboratories in schools. And all the students to the CSIR scientists and all the students to the fourth popular talk under CSIR-Jigyasa Epic Hackathon. As you might be aware, the CSIR launched a new initiative, EPIC, which is empowering pupil innovation and creativity under CSIR-Jigyasa program on January 5, 2024. This program envisages providing a platform for budding student scientists to pursue their innovation and develop novel ideas under the mentorship and guidance of scientists. The broad themes for EPIC 2024 were One Health and Clean Energy. Applications were invited in the form of ideas, designs, prototypes, technologies, smart apps for solving societal issues and improving the quality of life. We received more than 960 proposals from around 1,200 students. The submissions were reviewed by experts and a total of 42 proposals from 64 school children were shortlisted. The shortlisted students have been earmarked to CSIR Laboratory for an immersive 2-month summer internship in hybrid mode under the mentorship of CSIR scientists. As a part of this epic hackathon, CSIR HRDG has identified eminent speakers to talk about innovation, entrepreneurship, technology development, and to motivate students to be innovative. Today, we have our last talk in this series with Mr. Aryan Mishra. To brief our audience about Mr. Mishra, he is a young astronomer. He discovered an asteroid at the age of 14 along with his friend Kirti Vardhan and became one of the most popular amateur astronomers in the world. His love and passion for astronomy sparked at a very young age after he joined his school's astronomy club. He dreams to promote astronomy in the world, especially in the areas with lack of education and awareness for the field, through his venture Astroscape. Furthermore, he aims to glorify his dream not only in India but also in other countries. He has given countless lectures on astronomy in various schools and universities, and he has taught around 3 lakh kids in India and across the world, and been invited as a speaker guest in various events, with TEDx being the highlight in 2017. Aryan Mishra's diligent and meticulous work has been noticed by many famous people, sharing the mutual interest that has led Aryan to meet remarkable and influential astronauts like Sunita Williams, Rakesh Sharma, Don Thomas, Samuel Durrance, and etc. The family of late astronaut Kalpana Chawla, etc. He's a great inspiration for space enthusiasts and has been mentioned in the New York Times with famous Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. So he has also received silver medal for the Paramerica's Spirit of Community Award 2018 and have also been nominated for International Children's Peace Prize in 2016 for making a positive difference in the community through volunteer community service. He has worked with the Office of the PSA to Government of India in implementing astronomy labs in government schools. He has worked with Niti Aayog currently on making an astronomy module for school curriculum, which will be taught in all government and private schools. He has also founded the Astroscape, which aims promoting citizen science among the communities. Over to you, Aryan. Students, please note, you may please note down your queries. After this session, the students who are there in the meeting, they may get a chance to interact with Mr. Aryan. And those who have joined us via YouTube, your questions will be put up by me to Mr. Aryan. So, Aryan, you may please take over the touch.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to actually be here. First of all, congratulations on the first Epic Hackathon. And for me, the talk today is all about citizen science and how young people who are watching this can be part of citizen science. And when I say citizen science, it technically means that I'm going to elaborate it along with my story in the coming time, that how all ordinary citizens of the society can be part of science. Doesn't matter your degree or not. If I have to start, talking about my tryst with astronomy, it starts back when I was looking up at the night sky. Everyone is passionate somehow to become, to become something. I had no dreams at that time, and I was pretty young. I was still figuring out. But again, you have little dreams. For example, I was fascinated by planes. I was fascinated by the honking of trains. I was fascinated by this or that. That's surroundings around me. So, moreover, what happened when I was growing up, so I was looking up at the night sky very diligently, and that made me little, I didn't want it to be an astronomer, but when I got the first chance to look up at Saturn through a telescope, that was the time when I realized that, oh, can we see these things for real? So that inspired me so much to be where I am today. So then I ended up discovering an asteroid in 2014, uh, which actually is a near Earth object between Mars and Jupiter. It is designated as 2014-00372. And after discovering that, I got a lot of more insights of how me being in ninth grade did that. So imagine if kids who get the opportunity around the world having access to a telescope while sitting doesn't matter wherever they want to be, they can do much more than that. My tryst with when you must have heard by the speaker, she said that I have founded this organization called Astroscape, which technically aims at building astronomy labs, which is technically focusing currently on how students can be closer to more science, actually. So again, coming back to my efforts to, I really call my labs, astronomy labs, as citizen science effort. So what is a citizen science? If you see the words, there are two consecutive words, citizen and science. Citizens means you and me and everywhere around, whoever around us. Science, of course. So citizen science is a powerful approach that involves public and scientific research, allowing non-professionals. Like when I was in ninth grade, I did that. So was I was having a degree of an astronomy. I didn't had it, right? So I contributed to valuable data, insights, and observations to various projects at that time. So I was still being part of it, despite of not having a professional career out of it. So this collaboration between scientists and volunteers, you can call yourself as a volunteer at that time. So actually makes the scientific process like more democratic, because if you're putting young people out there to be watching you, say watching you like what scientists are doing it, you are helping them. So it's more like a democratic project. So one of the example of it is Galaxy Zoo project. So where citizen science, like people like you and me, can go help the scientists to identify the galaxy shape, what kind of galaxy are there. And if I talk about biology, there is another program called iNaturalist, a platform where individuals can document and share observations on plants, animals, and other organisms. Now, this data helps scientists to track biodiversity, monitor environmental changes on a global scale. Through citizen science, people say from all walks of life, again, you, me, anyone who has no, doesn't matter even the degree what they have, can play a meaningful role in advancing knowledge and addressing real world problem challenges. A lot of the people now, there are citizen science programs like taking a picture of clouds and telling which cloud is that, to identify what kind of clouds are there in the environment, which helps us to identify where are the storms coming up. Sadly, India does not has a citizen science laws. That maybe I'm trying a little bit of efforts what I can do. Countries like United States has various citizen science programs like Crowdsourcing Citizen Science Act of 2017 and Open Government Directives, which promotes public participation into science. Like European Union has General Data Protection Regulation. Under that, they have promote citizen science through Horizon 2020 and Horizon Europe research programs. Similarly, Australia has their own citizen science organization called Australian Citizen Science Association, and United Kingdom has its own environmental information regulations 2004, which tells that people you can be part of, like encourage the humanity to be part of science. So countries like them, they have it. India does not have it. But one of the interesting things happening is the which is in Ladakh. 10 kilometers, 10 hours away from Ladakh. So they actually have started this, I would call a citizen science effort, where they have not termed this as a citizen science effort, but I think it is a citizen science effort with the community where these Hanle villages are. So you and me, a tourist, can go there and stay with them. The community in the village can show you around what's there in the night sky. So Hanle is also India's first dark sky reserve, which means there is less amount of pollution. So how did this term come up? It's all because of people are, of course, the people who are working at Indian Institute of Astrophysics, but moreover, the people of community, they came together. The people of ordinary citizens of Hanle, they came together to make it happen. So yeah, again, community at a good role play. This is the first time I'm seeing an incredible community effort in the field of astronomy in perspective of our beloved country. So yeah, so now comes up astronomy labs. What I'm doing right now as a full time. I graduated from college, and back I went to college in 2019, Ashoka University. I studied physics there. Of course, I was a poor student, and back school also I was a poor student. But what fascinated me is that what I always had in my mind is that, yeah, that I do have to do something back for society, and I blame it on Shah Rukh Khan because this guy made a movie. Actually, he didn't. He acted in a movie. It was Ashutosh Gawalkar who made that movie. There's a movie called Swadesh, and I watched that movie, and I was like, boss, this is the end of life. This is the end goal, Ye tara, wo tara. So I also wanted to be a Shah Rukh Khan. Sadly, I don't have that kind of qualities like him, but still, I can pose like him. Not that great, but still. So I watched that movie, and so I always had this, uh, intention that, I should do something back. So I had this intention that I should do something back for villages, but I did not have this formal idea of how I can make it happen. What inspired me is that the Gram Panchayats level that I worked. So when I made my first lab back in UP, it gave me. I was like, can that be possible? But again, biggest achiever in UP and these villages were the community. They organized this event called Khagol Ratri. Khagol means astronomy, Ratri means night. So astronomy night, where villages from all around, from all around the village, people, they come up in school and they look through a telescope. That is something which blew my mind, and it got such a great response that I ended up building more than 200 astronomy labs alone in UP itself. Now I have approximately around uh, around 400 astronomy labs running across India right now, and one of the biggest achievement is that when you look at the data, I'm gonna share a slide with you, and I'm gonna show it to you shortly about the data. What I'm trying to show it to you. The data says that there are 8% attendance has come back to school, like 8% attendance has increased in school. So this is something that inspired me to continue this work. Otherwise, it would have been failed because again, the country and has like a lot of less number of resources. So if you can confirm, you can see my screen, that would be incredible. Again, I won't go into the theory part of it, but I would like to show you an interesting picture. So if you look this picture very carefully, this one, you can see that the ladies in the, just a second, this one. So these are the Khagol Ratri event, people from the village, they come up in the lab and they look through the universe of philanthropy of information, what the kids are being taught. Now, if you see very carefully this picture, if you see this teacher, this is from Bijnor in Uttar Pradesh. This is that I give. Again, mine is astronomy lab, but I figured if I want to win the situation, I need to respect what people need. That's when the teachers advised me that astronomy might be a burden for us, but why don't you build something which is inclusive of everything? That's when teachers advised me that, for example, there's a chapter called Hamara Sharir. In English, it is called Our Body, where we explain kids about human body and everything. What I did, I gave in my lab, say, uh, human eye, human torso, brain, and ears, and every part of like the main body parts, where students can actually take out every single part and see. So if you see, there is a TV in the lab, and we have given a content, of course, from YouTube. It's not art made of content, but teachers, they play this video and they open this eye to show exactly to a student how does this works out. So again, this is something, an experiential learning. So if you see this student using the lab's TV, again watching a YouTube video, but also understanding something which is there in the lab, I realized that how much students are there. They pay a lot of attention what is happening on a TV screen than to a teacher. So this comes at a play when you do this, and when you look up, for example, if you look into my lab, sorry about that. If you look about my lab, so if you see all these instruments which are kept there, it is related to physics, geography, biology, because I wanted to make it inclusive. My labs are running in 11 different languages like Hindi, English, Kannada, and other languages like Tamil also, and Odia also, Marathi, to make it so inclusive that kids can learn science in their regional languages. It shouldn't be a burden or Hindi or English, but they can learn science whichever manner they want to. So if you see this, for example, if you see this product, it's called animal cell and plant cell. Again, that's biology, but it's also in their syllabus. Teachers are not able to explain about animal cell or plant cell. For example, if you see this experiment, this is all about astronomy, like how does eclipse happens, how does seasons happens, what is the phases of moon, how does light travels from a telescope, how does lens works up. So again, am I doing a rocket science? I don't think so. It's extremely simple what I'm doing. What is interesting here is that why this is taking off, or maybe why this is working out, because one of the primary reasons what I feel is, first of all, this is made of what people want. So again, as the topic of this lecture is innovation and entrepreneurship also, at the same time, when the young people who are watching, there is a culture right now in the country which is, of course, amazing. It's called startup culture, where people are trying to build new things, they're experimenting new things. It's good. But again, you have to look at your consumers. So if I would have been made something astronomy labs, I don't think I would have been able to take it to maybe the farthest village in this country. I would have not been, my labs are running near Myanmar border, Bangladesh border, China border, in Bomdila, in Meghalaya, right? So these places have reached because it is so inclusive that teachers can use these materials and can teach them. So again, now this happened because I went on the ground to research about it. I spent my more time with teachers to understand what is their requirement. So I'm not the winner in this situation. It is the teachers. It is the teachers of the schools who have made this lab happen, and that's why it is there in the place. While I'm talking to you right now, I'm currently in Chhattisgarh, in Hasdeo Aranya Forest. Again, it's one of the most poorest district in this country right now, where I am, the district which I'm present right now. I'm building 5 astronomy labs, which will finish by Monday, and it's being built in the regional languages to make sure that students understand uh, basic science of it. So do I want to be astronomers out of these labs? I absolutely don't want it. If this labs has everything what students want to learn about it, it has a virtual reality box, it has augmented reality things, it has a little bit of technology aspect to it. I want students to imagine that whichever field they want to go to, they can actually pursue science. Can astronomy happen under a four walls? I don't think so. This lab does not make an astronomer, it does not make a scientist, but it does tells a kid, okay, how does light actually travels, rather than reading in a book. It's more like an experiential learning. After this, a kid can be anything. But back home, for example, when I saw Saturn through the telescope, that's what inspired me to be in astronomy, because I saw it. I would have been learning about Saturn since when I was in grade second or third. The books had Saturn, but I was not inspired that much. But when I saw something happening, it just blew my mind. So science works in that perspective. But time has also changed. So it's always interesting that how you want to build things, because again you have to take out to the people. And the interesting part is that my labs, none of them are in cities. They are not in tier 1 cities. Most of them, all 400 of them, are running in the most farthest villages where a district magistrate would have never been visited that village even after the independence of this country. So again, now, if you come to the perspective of my funding and everything, it happens through the district magistrate's office. So we are, again, funding is always a problem for me also at the same time. But again, I never lose hope in this, because when I see the glitter in the eyes of these kids, when I see them watching through the moon through the telescope, that inspires me so much. And yeah, so somehow I am being able to pay my bills on time, but still the struggle is always real and it keeps happening. But again, the product, when I go off to bed every day, I get to see pictures. For example, I'm going to show it to you. How does everything works out in my world? For example, if you like, these are my WhatsApp group, and if you see this, and if you see this kids, you will see this. We are getting photographs every single day from kids watching, doing something, and it inspires me so much. Every day we are somehow, and we also get complaints. That's what we are all about. For example, today we got a complaint that there is no Wi-Fi recharge. Then there is somebody's complaining about something. So we always try to tackle that issue. But again, coming back to, nothing can happen without criticism. It is as far as that. So we have more than 15-20 groups. At least in 3-4 groups every day I get pictures that students are watching this, students are doing this. That's a feedback. That's a pushback to the system that teachers can do it. There is a systematic error in the government where it is mentioned that government teachers are incapable of doing anything. It's I do not believe in that. Moreover, the question should be asked: are teachers made to go on a ration shop duty, or are they sent to make Aadhaar cards? So if you start sending your teachers to make Aadhaar cards, will they work it? So it's a systematic error which we do not give them access to most of the time. So if they have this lab, they might have to do it, and they do not have any other choice to do it, because again, we humans have the tendency to blame it as soon as possible. If you give them what they want, errors would come. Does all of my astronomy lab works up? Absolutely not. I have 400, I can vouch for it. 50 of them are perfect. Like, again, my work is to provide knowledge partner. I'm a knowledge partner. I can give you knowledge. I can make food for you. I can even serve the food for you, but you have to pick it from the spoon and eat it. Similarly, I can train the teachers. I can make them amount of information that they need, but at the end, I cannot be in every school. So teachers have the onus to change it. And teachers, they really do it, because now they have all the world-class facilities right there in their school. And these schools, most of the kids that you see in these labs, they do not even have 2 meals to eat in a day. 95% kids' parents are farmers, because most marginalized people, they come up in the government schools in Gram Panchayats. 90% students are only coming for midday meals. Only for midday meals, so they can have one-time meal. So a commissioner in Uttar Pradesh, a divisional commissioner, told me, I'm not trying to vouch for me, but he said something which always inspires me. He said, there are only 2 things which got back students back to school. One was K. Kamaraj's decision to build up midday meals, bring that into schools. And second was astronomy labs. Because again, who would not get inspired to study in such a fancy room? Isn't it? I would love to study. I never had this kind of classrooms. So when you give the opportunity to right set of people, mark my words, you just give them a machine. You don't have to do anything else. They will do wonders. And wonder starts when you really wanted to make it happen. So now coming to the another part of entrepreneurship, as the topic also depends, I would connect innovation plus entrepreneurship in 2 perspectives, saying that if you want to do innovative things, maybe in perspective of entrepreneurship, then research the market, that what society needs. because I felt that there is a lack of good instruments out there in schools where students can experiment things. Out of 70 equipments, 43 are working models, and out of 43, sorry, out of 70 equipments, 53 are working models, which means 53 of them actually has to work if you do not use your hands to make it work, right? Out of 53, only 3 of them runs on electricity to make sure that even if we are making in the farthest village, which 90% of the villages don't have even have electricity, so they don't have to suffer much. Most of them are made up of wood, metal, so they do not break so easily. For example, the telescope that you see in this picture, so the telescope is actually approximately, you can watch, that's a 6-inch Dobsonian telescope. You can watch 5 planets from it, eclipses from it. It's one of the best telescopes to use. So now if you have such kind of facilities, teachers would put efforts. It's not like it's the end of the world, but it's something, it begins the world. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. What's my end goal? I have no idea, to be honest. When somebody asks me where do you want to take it, I would rather say that I would like to add more and more ideas what I have in this lab. But someday I do not want there should be any Aryan making this up. This should become a citizen science effort that people can build up their own astronomy labs, and there shouldn't be a requirement of any Aryan in the world to make this happen, because again, it is a community who is playing a role in this labs to make it happen. Right? Similarly, I want this as a community effort in future, because again, it will become a community effort when you make the community realize. One day I went to a village, and the person in the village, they asked me that why, कि अगर हम लोग ये लैब बनाते हैं तो सब कुछ चोरी हो जाएगा, right? Everything would get stolen if we build this lab, because nothing sustains in this village for long. I asked the village people that what is one thing that the government doesn't invest in, but it survives on their own by the community. And one of them gave the answer. It is the temples. It is the religious places where government does not invest any money in Gram Panchayats. But still, it is surviving. So I gave them an idea. Why don't you build up a temple exactly on front of astronomy lab? And yes, some of them did it, and it worked out. As of now, out of 400, I only have got 2 labs complain that the items have been stolen. It is always only one thing which gets stolen. It is the VR box, because that's what fascinates the kids the most when you put a phone and watch them. Just take it home. But again, I told them to install fake CCTVs in lab, right? Because again, to install lab, you need a Wi-Fi, you need all the time electricity. They don't have that option. So I just told them that why don't you put a dummy CCTV there? It will help to create fear. It did. And yeah, none of them have, because again, when you give to community, they really respect it. गांव में जो लोग हैं, मतलब जो गांव में जिन लोगों के साथ मैं काम कर रहा हूँ, जो गांव में लोग हैं, they're extremely humble people. They really respect you. मतलब when I go back to villages, कभी भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि मैं खाली हाथ आया हूँ. Just now, 3 days back, I was not 3 days back. Actually, this Monday, I went to one of my astronomy labs. I went to a couple of villages. So the people from village, they gave me 3 cartons of mangoes and 2 jackfruits, like that, as a mark of respect. And I've not done anything extraordinary for them, but I gave them a belief that yes, you can do this. That lab gave them a belief that yes, you can do this. Your kids can also have the same kind of facilities what people in Delhi have it. Your kid doesn't has to go to Delhi to see this. Maybe they can have it right there. So when you give the community will also respect you. Criticism is a part of it. That's nothing to worry about. But again, if you don't move forward with it, it's not going to happen. Somebody has to risk it. So yeah. Now moving forward, coming back to our citizen science efforts, I also did a couple of citizen science projects in my right now while I was building these labs. One of them was with like in a different perspective of astronomy, like astronomy aspects of it. One of them was kids from villages having access to telescopes and clicking images of clicking images of galaxies while they are sitting. There is this 7-year-old girl who captured an image of white dwarf, which was actually like the European Space Agency. They took a note of that image of what she clicked. She had no idea what she clicked, but the director of European Space Agency wrote down to me saying that that's a white dwarf what a kid has clicked. So there are 10-20,000 images kids captured of galaxies and all that, which caught the attention of, again, I realized that if you want to make something happen in the government, I'm saying this on a government platform. If you want to make something happen in the government, you have to say one thing to the government that this will be the first time if you do this. So I realized that if I want to make something happen, I need to tell the government. This is the first time which is happening. So yeah, every time I make something, I always have to make sure that I do something which is the first time a government is doing. So it makes them feel happy. You know, we are the first. Everybody wants to be the first. Right. So the perspective of citizen science, I'm sure, like, again, CSIR-Jigyasa is, I vouch for them for being a citizen science because the work that they have been doing in schools with the Jigyasa efforts, one like what we are currently speaking on, Epic Hackathon, that's a prime example of citizen science involving young kids who are not having formal trainings, but still, despite of that, they can showcase their talents. I'm sure there are people joining from different institutes. I'm not saying about that you can build up citizen science programs which can have millions of people. No. Citizen science is 10 people involving, looking at clouds, looking at trees. That's a citizen science. The perspective of citizen science means only that we are not formally trained, right? So I think I have completed my 40 minutes. So I'm open to questions and you can ask me anything if you want to. I will be more than happy to answer.
So students, any queries? You may raise your hand and you may ask it one by one. Okay, so to start with, there is a query on the YouTube channel by Jay Prakash Kumar, and he's asking how much cost does it take to build this type of lab?
The lab that I showed in the picture is just 2.5 lakhs, which includes taxes. It technically depends on the location that we are building. If it's, for example, in southern India, to send materials, its little costs are higher. So it just depends on the location. So minimum it's 2.5 lakhs. So yeah.
So anybody else? Again, how much area do you need for a lab?
Oh wow. Everybody's talking business. That's good.
Yeah.
Basically, I have approximately 380 to 450 square feet. Like 380 to 450 square feet.
Okay. So a student has asked, sir, do you have a role model? Am I audible, Aryan?
Yeah, you are audible. Am I audible?
Yeah. I think the video lagged in between. So the student has asked, sir, do you have a role model?
Yeah, actually, I have various role models. But if you like, of course, when you are in astronomy, there are so many scientists who are doing so many brilliant work. I just met one of my role model 2 weeks back. Her name is Dr. Madhulika Guha Thakurta. She is one of the brilliant heliophysicists. Like she's a sun scientist. So basically, she's a doctor of the sun. She looks at the sun and she looks how exactly sun is working out. So that's something she has inspired me a lot. Kalpana Chawla has inspired me a lot. Her story is incredible, where she has come from and where she has gone. There's so many people around me has inspired me to be here where I am. My friends also have inspired me a lot.
Anybody else? Anybody else wants to raise a question? So we're waiting for last 1 minute. If you have any query, please guys raise it. Otherwise, we'll end the session. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of this popular talk series under CSIR-Jigyasa Epic Hackathon. So we thank you, Aryan, for sparing out time from your busy schedule to help out the students and give them the right direction about the citizen science program. And I believe your talk was very insightful and helpful to the school children. I would also like to thank the head HRDG for steering the entire CSIR-Jigyasa Epic Hackathon and providing us the required vision and direction. I also thank the mentors, Jigyasa coordinators, and other CSIR scientists for joining this program. Thank you, students, for attending the event. Hope this talk was helpful to you. Thank you all. Have a great day. Before you leave, Aryan, we have got a question.
Sure.
So this is a very, I don't know what's the kind of question this. So what did you want to be when you were a kid?
I wanted to be a train driver. So,
train driver?
Yeah, loco pilot. Because the honking, I just wanted to honk. That's it. I didn't want to drive. I just wanted to honk. Then I realized that nobody told me how to be a train driver. So I ended up, then I said, oh, let's be a pilot. Because, I was living near Indira Gandhi International Airport in around Vasant Vihar in Delhi. So the planes used to go little like lower. So I was like, oh, let's be a pilot. Then somebody told me it requires 40 lakhs. I didn't even know how many zeros are in 40 lakhs. So I said, no, boss, that's not happening. Then I realized that, oh, looking up at the night sky is free. So I can watch the star. It comes every night. It is free. So let's do something which is free. Yeah, so I started looking up at the night sky. So it was free. So that's where I am right now. So, yeah.
Ma'am, I have a doubt. Sorry, sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, please.
Sir, so the asteroid, I'm Vihan Cheda. So the asteroid which you discovered was from the asteroid belt, or like it just came out, or like what was the special thing about it?
There was nothing special. Most of the asteroids are in the asteroid belts. Some of the asteroids, they come towards the Earth, they get deflected. You must be hearing in the news all the time that asteroid the size of Burj Khalifa or New York like is passing, like asteroid the size of New York is flying towards the Earth at this speed and all that. They do pass from us time to time when they get deflected, or maybe sometimes the planet's gravity pull the asteroids. For example, Mars, Moon, Phobos and Deimos are asteroids. They are not spherical in space like a moon, but they're in the shape of asteroids. Jupiter, Saturn has most of their moon as an asteroid because their gravity is so strong that they can pull up any object towards them. So the one which I discovered was, of course, in the asteroid belt. So yeah.
Okay, sir. It was a really good information, sir.
Yeah. Your question was good.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
So anybody else? Before I say thank you finally. Okay. So we are ending the session. Thank you all for attending. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aryan. Thanks.